Now, Positively Ernie with Ernie Anastas, a New York TV legend and radio host with great positive stories and interviews.
Thanks, Ernie. You're the best.
And now, here's Ernie.
Hey, everybody. Welcome back to the show. Lots of good things going on, as always, and I really appreciate the wonderful response that we've had. I think, you're enjoying these programs because they're uplifting, and we deal with some interesting issues, ways to make life better. If there is a problem, you know how I feel about it? Let's find a solution. Let's find ways to make life better, because that's what it's all about. And today I want to introduce somebody who's a really talented, gifted person. I have met him several times at various parties, and he's performed, he's entertained, and then we had a chance to talk a little bit. And I said, you know what? We got to get together and put you on the air, because a lot of people do know about you, but I want even more people, especially my audience, to know who you are. His name is Donnie Kehr. And he's sitting here right here. Donnie, say hi to everybody.
Hi, everybody.
Hi,
Hello,
everybody.
hello.
Here we are.
Okay.
Donnie,
Yes,
you are an actor.
Yes.
I mean, you're a singer, you're a songwriter,
Yes.
you're a performer, you're a very talented guy. And, if we had a keyboard here right now,
Oh, yeah.
you'd be playing.
Oh, yeah, it'd be on.
You'd be on. But
yeah.
I don't know where to start. I mean, talk about acting. I mean, a lot of people will say, okay, where have I seen him?
Okay.
Jersey Boys, the movie.
Jersey Boys movie, the original Broadway cast.
Yes.
Inventing Anna. Let's see. I've got the beginning of everything.
Oh, man.
I've Daredevil.
Yeah.
I was Gotham. I was on there.
Absolutely. The long list. But
Yes.
let's go to Jersey Boys for a minute, because
Yes,
a lot
sir.
of people can relate to that. And that was a fabulous movie.
Oh, yes.
And also a great play on
Oh,
Broadway.
yes. Thank you.
Tell people what you were doing and how you got involved, because Clint Eastwood
Yes, sir.
was a real influence on you, and you have some great stories to talk about.
I do. Yes. It's funny. I was doing the tour, the second or third national tour. We were in San Francisco, and it had been announced maybe a couple of weeks prior that Clint Eastwood was going to make a movie of Jersey Boys.
Yeah.
So I go to do the show, and I always go right before half-hour call, which is a half hour before the show. I would go to Starbucks and get my coffee.
Okay.
Anyway, so I went there, and I'm walking out, and Clint Eastwood is walking right towards me.
Giant.
I'm like,
Unbelievable.
that's Clint Eastwood.
Yeah.
And so I said, Mr. Eastwood, by chance, are you going to see Jersey Boys? He goes, yeah, do you know where I can get my tickets? And I
That's pretty good.
I said, come with me. I took him across the street, and of course the general manager and all the guys that work on the show were standing outside having a cigarette right before the show. And they see me walking across the street with Clint Eastwood, and they're like, oh, geez. And I said, can you get this guy a ticket? And they said, we can make that happen. And he came to see the show, and then after the show, he came backstage. And he was very generous, very kind. And then I got a call a week later to audition for the movie.
For the movie, yeah.
Yes, sir. And so I went in, I screen tested for both roles, for Gyp DeCarlo and for Norm Waxman. And then I didn't hear anything for about 3 weeks, and I thought, oh, well,
Yeah. Well, you've
so
been
what?
through a lot of these before.
Things
so
happen.
You
So
accept it.
Exactly. And then I see on the news that Christopher Walken has been cast as Gyp DeCarlo. And I went, I gave it my best shot, but I can't compete with Christopher Walken. And then I got a call the next day saying from Clint's assistant, we'd love you to play Norm Waxman.
Oh,
and I
how
went,
great
oh,
is
well,
that?
all right.
Yeah.
Yes.
He must have been thrilled, right?
Absolutely.
I mean, that was a personal touch. I mean, you had met him, talked to him.
Yes, sir.
He was impressed and impressed
Yes,
with
sir.
whatever you did in your audition.
And things like that happen for a reason.
Yes.
It was a blessing that I went to Starbucks.
Right.
And I saw him
was
right
meant to
before the
be.
show, and then he said, "Hey, can you help me?" And I said, "Come on."
Look at that.
And
Look at
that was not that that's what got me the movie, but it sure was a nice
timing in life, right, and experiences. Many times we talk about that, and we say, you know what? If certain things are meant to be, I kind of believe in that.
I do too.
That you connect. Now, when you were on set
Yes, sir.
in the movie,
Yes.
you told me a story once. It was your birthday?
Yes, as you know, I just want to say something.
Yeah.
today, right now, sir,
Your birthday.
is my birthday.
That's why I brought it up. Happy birthday.
It is. And it's 10 years ago that I did Jersey Boys movie. And yes, I was turning 50, and I went to him, and it was the first day I was going to be working with Christopher Walken. And I love Christopher Walken. I'm a big fan.
Great talent, yeah.
So I went up to Clint and I said, Mr. Eastwood. And he says, first of all, don't call me Mr. Eastwood. Call me Clint. I said, okay. Clint, thank you so much for this birthday gift. I get to work with one of my heroes. And he goes, how old are you? And I said, 50. I'm getting old. And he took 2 seconds and really looked at me and he said, don't let the old man in. And he walked away.
Wow.
And I went, okay, mantra. You know, that was a great piece of advice.
What a great line.
Absolutely.
Don't let the old man in.
I think everybody should know, whenever it's your birthday, celebrate your heart, the freedom we have.
Yes, exactly.
Life that we live.
Right.
The happy joy stuff.
Appreciate it.
Don't worry about getting older.
Absolutely
means
not.
nothing.
Somebody, Donnie, somebody sent me a birthday card a long time ago, and it said, if someone asks you how old you are, here's a good answer. I'm old enough to have life figured out and young enough to live it.
Beautiful.
You like that?
I love that.
And I use that many times, and I'm saying, you know what? I've learned some things in life, as we all have.
Yes, sir.
But I'm around, and I thank God that I can live it, and I can share it, and I can learn from my experiences. And there's a lot more to do in life.
There was
a lot more to do.
And all right, so here's my trivia question. Who wrote the song?
What is it?
You would know, because you're also a singer, a very good singer.
Oh, no. Come on.
Ernie,
you've heard me dabble a little bit.
You might have done the news and all that, but you know what? You're a singer. I've heard you sing.
I like to play around.
When I was playing at a party,
not as good as you.
He got up. He was like, no, you held your own, man. You totally did.
Man, some song,
When You're Young at Heart. Who wrote that?
When You're Young at Heart. Sinatra sang that, right?
Yes, sir.
When You're Young at Heart. Who wrote that?
That's a good trivia question.
Yeah, go ahead.
Let's figure out, because I don't know.
You don't know either.
No.
I'll have to Google it.
Please, let's Google it. But it's, when you're young at heart.
Yeah. Fairy tales can come true. It can happen to you. See, this is all good stuff because it generates, people getting excited about what we're talking about. Now, when you talk about music, you're amazing.
Thank you,
people
man.
have to know that you've gone out there and you've performed the music of Billy Joel and Elton John and more.
Yes, sir. Yes.
And you sing and you play that piano. Tell us about how you do that and how you manage to be able to create so much of that excitement when you're performing.
It's funny. I went to my mom when I was 11 years old. My mom said, "You've got to take piano lessons." And I thought, okay, sure. So, because I was starting to play anyway.
Yeah.
So I took. So she sent me to take a lesson to this at Manus School of Music.
Okay.
And I went for 3 lessons just to see how it would go. First lesson, he gives me this piece of music, which was Chopin, and he says, okay, I want you to learn this and come back in 2 weeks.
That's heavy.
And play it for me. I'm like,
Chopin.
Here's how you read the notes. This is what you do. And so it took me 2 weeks just to get it in my head. But what I discovered is that when I went to the lesson, I played the Chopin piece, and he said, okay. I said, yeah, thank you so much. I said, but you know what? I think I'd like to hear it this way. And I played it backwards.
Wow.
And he went,
How old were you?
I was 11.
Amazing.
He says, I can't teach you. He said, I don't think this is the right thing for you. You have an amazing ear.
Yeah.
Go with your ear.
Yeah.
And he said, you can play. I'm
That's
not
your
worried
talent.
about that. So then he sent me to music theory, and I learned some music theory. But really, I didn't take any lessons after that.
It was there.
I just was
It
there,
your
and
own.
all by ear, and I still play by ear.
You play by ear.
I can't read any.
You don't read any notes.
No.
It's interesting to hear you say that because I've heard from some other great artists who are the same way. They've got that talent.
Billy Joel is the same
Billy Joel,
way.
you got the same gift to be able to do that. I think that's marvelous.
It takes, well, it's like anything. If you have a little bit of something, a little bit of it's like if you have just a little bit of something, you can grow with that if you focus on it, and even if you so many people give up before they get across, to that threshold where you know you can play, because the people get insecure and people feel like they get. But my mom was extremely supportive of me and just said, "You keep trying, you keep trying," and I just kept going, and I learned to play 4 instruments. Because I never wanted to be out of work.
4 instruments: the piano,
guitar, drums, and bass. The 4 basics.
They really are important. I think if you ask most people, if they had an opportunity to learn how to play an instrument, I would say piano would be first, and then guitar.
Well, what happened was, speaking of Jersey Boys, is Des McAnuff, the director, wanted actors who were musicians to be in the show. So when he called me about it, he said, "I want you to play guitar, piano, drums." So I did. I played in the show. I played drums on Dawn and Big Girls Don't Cry.
Oh, yeah.
And Who Loves You. And then I played guitar on Can't Take My Eyes Off of You. And I played guitar on Beggin'.
What a thrill.
It was fun. And we were really playing, back in the day.
Great performer.
That was fun, yes.
Well, you have all of this background.
Yes, sir.
And yet, you don't stop. We talk about the enthusiasm for what you do.
Thank you.
There's something big coming up, and you've worked with some of the biggest and the best, and you're big as well.
Thank you.
You have the talent. You really are. You're a big star. Now, we talked about this guy, and he's a very talented guy. Huey Lewis.
Huey
Lewis and the News, right?
Oh my gosh!
What an amazing star he is. And there's something coming up. Tell everybody about this.
Okay, so in 1993, I started a show called Rockers on Broadway, which is a benefit for art. We support arts education, and it's a benefit that I started with Pete Townsend during the run of Tommy. I was in the original Tommy on Broadway, and so I started this thing, and then we created a company called the Path Fund, which produces Rockers on Broadway.
This
and
is
every
so good
year,
to be doing that.
Thank you.
What a way to help young people.
We want to give people. We want to give back to the community.
Yes.
Help the youth figure out what they want to do. Their creative energy.
Right.
Everybody has it. They just sometimes don't know where to put it, and we help them do that.
It's what you give, not what you get.
Exactly.
Go ahead, Don.
Exactly. So every year we honor a rock and roll luminary and a Broadway luminary, and this year we are honoring Huey Lewis.
Yay.
Oh my gosh! Because look, he had 2 Broadway shows this past year. He did Heart of Rock and Roll, and he had Back to the Future.
Yep.
And it just worked out perfectly because 30 years ago I started this, and I was thinking, and I knew that rock and roll was going to come to Broadway. I just knew it in my heart, and now it's happening.
Yeah, it is.
And and because of Pete Townsend, he really put me on the map with this, and it's been a wonderful adventure. It's been actually the most gratifying thing that I've done in my life, is because it's not been certainly about me in any sense. It's just me being supportive of. When I was a kid, I wish I had that kind of support, and I did.
You had it from your family?
Yes, I did. I had it from my family.
But it's nice to get it from the outside as well.
That's correct. That's right. Yes, I had a mentor, a wonderful writer, a brilliant writer, a guy named Fred Ebb. Fred Ebb. He was of Candor and Ebb. Fred Ebb wrote the lyrics to Cabaret in Chicago, all of Liza's work, and a lot of Cheetah's work, and. It was he was my mentor. He really made sure that I was on the right path, and I'm doing that for kids now. I'm trying to help the youth of America really find their artistic path.
I think I congratulate you on that. It's a wonderful program. Donnie, there are so many things to talk about. I've asked people sometimes on the street. I did a question of the day.
Okay.
And I said, what do you think was the best decade for music?
Oh,
and people talk about the 40s, the big band era, and the 50s, we had rock and roll, and the 60s, we had, and then we had disco and rap, and a lot of different times and different decades.
Yes.
If you had to pick one out and say, you know what, this was an amazing decade for music, when is it?
The 70s.
The 70s.
Absolutely. The
Tell
70s,
us why.
100%.
I think I know.
Things were, because real musicians played. There was no computers around at the time. So you really had to pick up an instrument. You had to play it. You also had to sit there and work with the band, get the arrangements, figure out how you were going to present it. And some of the most brilliant work came out of the 70s. I mean, you think about
Big hit songs.
Huge.
Endless.
But you also think about the great bands that made, like Led Zeppelin. Okay, I'm a huge Zeppelin fan, but I was also a Motown fan.
Sure.
Because the songs were great. There's great melodic content, lyric content. All of that was there. Billy Joel came out in the 70s.
Yeah.
Elton John came out in the 70s. I mean, Led Zeppelin, Motown.
And through from the 60s carrying into the 70s, you had the Beatles, and you had a lot of other great,
absolutely,
Chicago, and so many groups. The music is endless.
Oh, yes.
It really is. And when you think about the effect that music has on people, and I want you to talk about that, Donnie, because, when you're out there performing and you see how everyone reacts to it, there's something magical about music.
Yes, sir.
And everybody kind of has their taste of what they like. But in general, I think music overall is just such a plus in your life.
It is a healing.
Healing.
It's healing.
Yeah.
Because, with the chaos in the world the way it is, I have find that we all need a creative outlet to sort of get back to our souls, like to find our hearts where they are. The way the world is, I mean, we find ourselves in so much chaos right now. Finding that one little thing, whether it's you turn on the radio, on the computer you go and you do a playlist, whatever it is nowadays. I mean, there's a lot of different stuff. A lot of ways to hear music, but the fact of it is that music is it makes my heart happy. And, I think when I'm in a room and I'm performing, whether it's for 10 people or 1,000 people, or even 10,000 people, it's not the amount. What it is there is a, I guess the best way to put it is it's a way of feeling like part of a family. There's a vibe in the room. There's a total connection.
Absolutely.
And it's like we're all on that same beat. We're all on that same note.
Right. You go to a concert and you see everybody getting into it. They get up, they start dancing, and they do things.
Yes, sir.
I love that.
Last night I went to a concert. I went for my birthday. I went to see Electric Light Orchestra at Madison Square Garden, and they were amazing.
Oh, yeah.
Sounded just like the record, but it was like huge and
full,
terrific. Everybody having a blast, everybody connecting, everybody's head bopping at the same time.
It's a common denominator. It's something that really can connect so many generations and people from all over the world.
Without a doubt.
And you can listen to music from various countries, and there's something in there that you can feel good about.
Ernie, what's funny is I've been asked, do I prefer acting or do I prefer music?
Yes.
Because I do both.
Tough choice.
It is a tough choice, but they're completely different beasts.
Yeah.
For instance, theater acting is completely different than film acting.
Right.
But yet music is just music, and there's different ways of playing. It's not about how good of a guitar you got. Right. It's about the player who plays that guitar. I could play for instance, if you gave me a piano that was a mess, it was out of tune, whatever, I'd figure out a way to make it sound okay.
Yeah.
It's about the player. And the reason why I say that is because it's from your heart. It's from your soul. It's from what drives you. But the thing is acting is a lovely, lovely medium, and I love doing it. It's a certain thing. And you are working as an actor, you're working for the director's vision or, the writers. And you want to create this character. Whereas in music, that is all from you.
Yeah.
Even if you're just one of the musicians, that
soulful
tone, that whole thing is all up to you, and it all comes from you.
Right.
And
that's the originality that you're talking about.
That's right. That's right. And it's also just another. It's another outlet of creativity that makes me happy.
And I think what you're saying too, and a lot of people can relate to it. You're dipping into your soul.
That's right.
You're dipping into who you are.
Absolutely.
And you're discovering something, and it can be new every time.
Every time.
And say, wow, and it's all about creativity here, Donnie.
That's right.
Creativity, the greatest gift that we have.
I think it is the greatest gift that God gave us, because
Yeah.
it is an outlet for us to express our true feelings, true selves, and a way to move. You can change the world with music.
Totally. And you're celebrating your birthday today.
Yes, sir.
Happy, happy, happy.
Thank you.
And when you think about birthdays, I mean, you and I feel the same way. I mean, we're at a certain stage of life where you've done a lot of things.
Sure.
Great things.
Thank you.
And you've accomplished so much. Now, one of the questions that's always asked, what's next? But
Yes,
but tell me about what your hopes and dreams are for what you would like to see soon.
Okay.
And even down the road. What do you look for? What is deep in your heart to say, I'd like to do this. Yeah. Anything there that stands out right now?
Yeah. One thing is that the Path Fund and Rockers on Broadway has been based in New York City, and we host this event, and we've raised a lot of money, and it's New York based. Part of me would, and we do a lot for kids here. We have a program called Rockers on the Rise, and we scholarship students to and mentor them in a way that we're giving them. We get classes with top Broadway people. These kids get to perform with their heroes.
Yeah.
And that's most important.
What a joy that has
Takes
to be,
them up another level,
right?
right?
Are you kidding?
That's
course,
fun.
Of course.
So my guess, what I would like to do, what I'd love to see is that extends out to more places than just New York. I'd love to see it go across the country.
Good. I hope you have that. I'm going to ask you one last question.
Yes, sir.
Bruce Springsteen, the boss.
Oh, man.
Amazing.
The best.
Oh, the best.
The best.
And Bruce was on one of the late night shows.
Okay.
And the host asked him, do you have a favorite song? And, when I was listening to it, I said, oh, what is he going to say? And I was thinking about one of his, so many hits, I can't even list them all.
Sure.
Do you know what his answer was? The Summer Wind, Frank Sinatra.
Wow.
Blew me away. I said, the summer wind, the summer wind, blowing in from across the...
That's Springsteen's favorite song.
That's what he said. And I said, wow, this is great. So I'm going to ask you the same question.
Okay.
I mean, here you are. You're such a great songwriter and a performer.
Thank you.
If you had to pick one song that you'd say, I really think this is one of my favorites, what would it be?
Here, There, Everywhere by the Beatles.
Oh, that's a good one. Sing a little bit of that.
Here, there, making each day of the year.
Love
anyway,
it.
Thank you. All right, let me ask you the same question. Now, what is yours?
It's interesting because I happen to love Sinatra.
Love him too.
And I do love, Summer Wind.
Fred Ebb wrote New York, New York. Go ahead.
Oh, there you go. There you go.
Yes, sir.
But I would pick a Sinatra song. Okay. And many times when I've had an opportunity to sing, and I'll get in front of a karaoke or something, let's take it nice and easy. It's gonna be so easy for us to fall in love. I think that's my song.
That's awesome.
I love that song.
I have
nice
one other.
Easy.
I have one other.
Go ahead.
Some folks like to get away.
Oh.
Take a holiday from the neighborhood. Yeah.
I love it. Donnie, you're the best.
Thank you, sir.
Happy birthday. Many, many, many more.
Thank you.
Come back and see us again sometime.
Yes, I want to say one thing. If you are in New York City on October 28th,
okay, we
are doing Rockers on Broadway honoring Huey Lewis at Sony Hall on 46th Street at 8 p.m. On October 28th.
We'll be there.
Oh, please
be there
do.
Or be square.
Love it, Ernie.
I like it.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Donnie.
Right.
Donnie Kehr, a great guest. You come back again and say hi to us, okay?
I sure will. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for watching, everybody. Have a great day and stay well and stay positive.
Woo.
Yeah.